good morning all. So luckily this will be kind of an easier video for me, because a viewer asked why the Kawasaki KLX230 Supermoto over like the KLX300 Supermoto or the DRZ400 Supermoto or this, that, and the other. So first off, you know, I'll definitely say I kind of like the colors of the 230 better than the 300. Like the blue looks better, and the green definitely is that really nice Kawasaki green on the 230. Whereas the 300, like, they got that camo, which, like, it's cool in theory, but when I looked at it in person, it just, I don't know, just something about it just didn't quite tick the boxes. They had like a, if I remember correctly, the 300 Supermoto also has like a weird off blue, which wasn't a big fan of that either. The fact that this has an LED headlight, you know, where the 300 doesn't, like, that's like, why would I spend more to not have an LED headlight? Like, yeah, I'm getting, you know, like, gosh, disconnected my neck button. Alright, like, why would I pay more to not have the LED or the, you know, like, yeah, it's a little bit more power, but honestly, I haven't felt like I truly was lacking with this thing. Probably because I knew, you know, growing up, you know, and riding these things, like, being my first bike was a dual sport, and then, you know, I knew what these things were. I didn't expect to do 100+ mile an hour on them, so it's one of those that, you know, I didn't care about the extra power. And honestly, the way it's geared and everything, I haven't felt like I've been lacking. Now, comparing it to like the DRZ400, so we'll go many reasons on that. So my buddy owned one. Yes, they are reliable. Yes, they've been around forever, but I'm not that tall. I'm about 5'9", 5'10", wearing boots, you know. Oh, dear Lord. I am tragically screwed behind this bus. But it's tall. It has a pretty mean seat height. Like, you know, like with this bike, when you sit on it, the suspension's soft enough to where, you know, it squats down enough to where you're like, alright, this is manageable, it's good. But that DRZ has a tighter suspension. It doesn't allow it to squat as much, so you can actually, you know, be comfortable on it being a shorter rider. Also, carbureted. Like, you know, my first 3 motorcycles that I grew up riding were all carbureted. And, you know, when I got my first fuel injected bike, it is extremely hard to ever go back to carbureted. Wow, that was nice of the bus driver to let me go past that. That was a first. Wow. Alright, so, going on. Yeah, once you have fuel injection, you can't go back. It's so hard, because, like, you just turn the key, hit the button, and that's it. You don't have to mess with anything. It's great. So, yeah, I've ridden a 400 Supermoto, and honestly, comparing these two, I would choose this 11 times out of 10. Like, there is no instance ever that I would choose the DRZ 400 over this, especially for the cost difference. Like, you know, this thing, you know, like, depending on when you see it, $5,300 MSRP American, you know, which with some of the sales that they got going on, you're looking at maybe 4,700 not 47 MSRP, but 4,700 before, you know, taxes, tags, and all the other dealer fees. But, you know, it's great for what this thing is, you know. Let's see. Also, you know, it's kind of interesting, but like sitting on this, it's also really nice compared to the 300, because since it's air cooled and everything, everything's so tight and compact on this bike. It's actually really wonderful, because actually I'll stay in this lane. Like, it's such a very narrow bike. It's super lightweight. It's so easy to flick. It just, yeah, honestly, it's great. And honestly, this display, yeah, it's not much of a display, but honestly, I think this display looks better than the one that's on the 300 Supermoto KLX. Yeah, like, and then obviously price-wise, I wouldn't go up to, like, you know, like the Husqvarna 701 or KTM 690 or any of that. Like, yeah, they're phenomenal looking bikes, but, you know, I got this because I just wanted something fun that didn't cost a lot and that I can just, you know, beat. And it's great. It really is. Let's see, what else? You know, like, I've owned a Honda CRF 250L, which, phenomenal bike. The 300s are probably just as good, if not better. But, you know, I obviously, you know, because money being the name of the game, I obviously didn't want to put, you know, buy a dual sport and then do all the Supermoto conversion. Like, yeah, I could have, but, you know, that's expensive. It's pretty expensive doing all that. But yeah, so let's see, what else could I really say? The price was right on this, even though excuse me, originally I was looking at the green one, and through just way of things happened, I somehow ended up with the blue one. You know, I loved both colors, you know, of this bike. Like I said, the LED headlight, the cost, the simplicity of this bike. Like, you know, it's, for what this thing is, it's a pretty awesome, either beginner or somebody like me that's been riding for a couple of years and just wanted something simple, something basic, something that just works, you know, and you don't have to care and could be super concerned about. It's phenomenal. And like I said, I would never choose the DRZ 400 over this in any day of the week. And I will say the same thing about the KLX230. Like, I never looked at that bike at all and be like, you know what, maybe I should have jumped up to that. So, if you really want to consider it, this is a rave review about this bike. This bike is phenomenal for what it is. You know, like, yeah, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but you know what? As, you know, many of you all see, I have a KTM, and that thing's fast, but most of the time I actually enjoy riding this more just because I don't have to go fast to have fun. Like, this thing, like, you know, 50, 60 mile an hour, and, you know, you can just rip up any back road no matter how tight or technical. It's great. It's phenomenal. You know, and let's say, God forbid, you ever have to drop it, you know, this definitely is a lot easier and cheaper to fix than than, you know, like a KTM, or, you know, obviously if you had the, you know, the 300 that had radiators and all that other stuff. Like, there's, you know, it just works. It just works. Yeah, so yeah. Now, the one downside I will definitely say about this bike is tires. Because of the oddball size, you don't have a lot of options. That's the one major pitfall of this bike. You know, like the IRC Road Winner tires that are on this thing, you know, for how I ride and what I've been doing, they've been more than sufficient. I got, you know, almost 1,200 miles on this bike, and I don't see any noticeable signs of wear. So they're probably going to be a long-lived tire. Like, I'll probably get maybe 3,000 or 4,000 miles or so, a full season out of them, before really truly having to, even though I have truly been looking for tires just to see what's out there. But yeah, you know, it's not much, because it's hard. It really is hard to find, you know, a 120 70 17 rear. That is so weird and hard to find. So, you know, like I said in one of my videos, I might try to, you know, look at maybe bumping it up to like a 130, or I don't really truly think I could fit a 140. I would love to, because then it would make it easier getting tires, but I really have no clue. We'll find out. But for why I picked this bike, you know, those are my reasons. And honestly, I don't regret my decision. This has been a phenomenal bike. You know, it's great. I beat on it all the time, and she just keeps coming back for more. It's phenomenal. I'm truly happy with my decision. And if anybody's looking at, you know, these three bikes, you know, the DRZ, the KLX230 Supermoto, or, you know, the 230 Supermoto, honestly, you can't go wrong with the 230. Like, yes, you're not getting, I think it's 30 horsepower, roughly. I think. Don't hold me to that. I'm pretty sure it's lower than that. But, okay, you get, what? I think it's, because this is 19, so you're getting, you know, 11 more at the high end, which I don't think you're, like, yeah, you're gonna notice it, but I don't think there's really much higher of a top speed on that compared to this, you know. And like, and this thing has a hard limiter at 75, and this thing will get up to 75 no issue. So yeah, do with this information as you want, but KLX230 for the win, you know. So yeah, I hope this answered my viewers' question, and anybody that may be looking at this bike, you know, as an option. This is a pretty phenomenal bike. It really is. If you want basic, reliable, you know, fun, cheap Supermoto, you know, you really can't complain. You really can't complain one little bit. Alrighty, well, yeah, I think I rambled for as long as I can on this topic. I don't think there's anything else that's coming to mind that I could really say more about this bike than I already have. So, yeah, there you go. I hope y'all like, and, you know, definitely subscribe if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Take it easy.